Hey lovely people, welcome back. We are looking at the her Lokhust Heavy Destroyer in issue 73. Right, let's put the plastic aside. We get a trifold. Oh, more Rogue Trader info, but this one's Blackstone Fortress. So we get a trifold here. Plenty of info. Zote, Kroot, Spindle Drones, Beastmen, Amble, Urgles, Archaeotech. So yeah, plenty of info on the Blackstone Fortress stuff. And here we go. Necron Heavy Destroyer. Lokhust Heavy Destroyers. This is our info sheet. So it's G Heavy Support. It does look a wee beastie. I'm going to have to look at the weapons profiles and see what we've got. I think there's just 2 weapons for it. So Blood Angels, the Sanguinor, exemplar of the host. A mysterious entity of unknown origins, the Sanguinor appears only at the Blood Angels' periods of greatest need. Amongst the Blood Angels, he is a figure of myth and awe. And Gabriel Seth, Guardian of Rage. Wrathful, dour and savage, Gabriel Seth is distrusted even by many of the Sanguinary Brotherhood's other chapter masters, yet there is no doubting his effectiveness. So that's the Flesh Tearers, isn't it? Yeah, Flesh Tearers down the bottom. We've got info on fifth Sphere expansion. Tau Empire's fifth Sphere expansion has been in a constant state of conflict since its foundation, assailed by the Death Guard, Genestealer cults and the Imperium. And then you've got examples of all the main battle suits. Fire Warrior armour, Stealth armour, Standard Crisis battle suits, Enforcer battle suits. You've got the XV88 broadsides and then the 104 Riptide. I mean, they've included the stealth battle suit, but they haven't included the ghost kill. I have got one of those I need to build. Let me know if you want to see a build video for it. Right, so Lokhust Heavy Destroyer. It's looking good. I like it. So my girlfriend collects Necrons. She's like all about the murder bots. Yeah, so which one's going to be the better weapon? Don't know. But it stands on this little scenic base here, this little scenic rock pile, which gives it its levitation, which is quite cool. So it should be nice and solid in gameplay, not having to rely on a flimsy flying stand. Here is your paint instructions even. And oh hello, we haven't, all right, okay. So, and then we've got some more Ultramarines. Some more Ultramarines stiff. And Sisters and Admech. So yeah, just adding into the details, how to paint face details. Lokhust Heavy Destroyers. Right, anti-tank weapon, Gauss Destructor, blast weapon, enigmatic exterminator. So let's have a look, shall we? So he's got a movement of 8 inches, weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 3+, strength 4, toughness 5, wounds 4, 2 attacks, leadership 10, and a 3-up save. The enigmatic exterminator is 36 heavy 3d3. So potentially you could get 9 shots out of that, basically. It's a strength 7, -1 AP, 1 damage, blast weapon. Then you've got the Gauss Destructor, which is 36 inches, heavy 1, strength 10. So that's up there with the rail rifles on a tank, on the Tau tanks. AP -4, so that's really good. And its damage is 3d3. So again, you've got the potential for 9 damage. And it looks like war gear options. It looks like its standard fit is with the Gauss Destructor. Cool. Right, tutorial for it and some playthroughs. Right, Veteran 14, Grinding Advance. As the Necrons rally their forces in preparation for a counter-offensive, the Imperium's depleted war machine readies itself for the coming assault. The campaign on the surface has devolved into a brutal trench war, with both sides paying a heavy price in blood or metal in order to gain even a few meters of territory. Control of the arterial Rukkar Valley, which will allow the Imperium to move heavy armour and siege equipment into position. The Necron strike aims to prevent this. So we've got a little campaign map. Necrons counter-offensive. Imperial forces have suffered devastating casualties. The Overlord has judged it time to take advantage of launching a counterattack in order to drive the humans out of their defensive positions. With the valley secure, destruction of the Noctilith pylon may be completed and the war won. Imperial hold a ground. The Rukkar Valley offensive has begun to slow in the face of increasing Necron aggression. As the war for Kjalmar's skull moves into a new phase, Imperial forces have been forced to dig in and weather Necron counterattacks. They must hold ground and prevent the Xenos from pushing them back. So, veteran mission, No Man's Land, 75 power armies. We're using all 4 of the battle mats. We've got deployment zone is, well, it's basically, it's 24 inches clearance in the centre. So that's 12 inches each side of the centre line. You've got 3 objective markers on the centre line, 1 objective marker in each of the deployment zones, which are along the shorter board edge. No Man's Land. If a unit has a pre-battle rule that allows it to be set up anywhere on the battlefield, that unit must still set up wholly within your deployment zone. If a unit has a pre-battle rule that allows it to make a move, it must end that move wholly within your deployment zone. Okay. Primary objectives, take and hold progressive is the primary objective, and secondary objectives are secure No Man's Land progressive. So there you go. And obviously we know that we're getting the Fire Strike Servo turret, but in issue 75 we're getting our last Hemotrope reactor. Right, come down. Let's have a look at this. So what we got, is this a 65mm? It's got to be a 60, it's either a 60 or a 65mm base. What did the I doubt it's listed because you're not having to. Oh no, it's listed 65mm. So 65mm base. So this is a sculpt of 2020. So this is a fairly new beastie. I don't know if there was a resin or metal model previously, but this is a fairly recent sculpt. So this has obviously come out for 9th edition. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at these blast weapons, and they are looking a bit meaty. So we've got these big paddles here. I'm wondering if I could drill a hole and secure a magnet in there, like maybe a 3mm magnet. But the question is there space on the weapon then to mount the magnet? And I'm just having a look. I can't see. I've got a funny feeling that this arm slots into the top, because that's recessed here on both sides, so it looks like one will slot into that, and possibly one slots into the back, so it's probably not going to be able to magnetise it. But hey, it's not the end of the world. But I'm looking at this, and it's nicely done. Yeah, I am suitably impressed. And again, we've got this carapace armour here, which is going to benefit from having the Tesseract Glow energy source put into the runic lines. So yeah, and even a little tiny scarab on the stonework. Cool. I'm probably going to build these two separate, build the base, and keep it separate so that I can paint it separate, and then obviously I'll build this. But there you go, that's the plastic. Come back and we'll build it. Shall we get our, what is it, Lokhust Heavy Destroyer built? The first thing I'm going to come in and do is the base, so that it's had a good chance to go off. And literally it starts off with these things, these pre-molded bits of terrain going onto it. So I'm just going to make sure that that's well and truly stuck down, and then you've got a couple of other bits. So you've got like 3 pieces of rock, but you also get these 2 little, one's just a rock, the other one's half a skull, pins. I'm going to put those aside and use those separately, because they're sometimes good to include on bases for figures. So that's what I'm going to do with those. So that can just be setting off to the side. So what do we do? Well, we start off officially with the torso bits, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick these guns together. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to see. Now, this is a push fit model. I'll say that straight away. So you can pop these bits kind of like almost together and leave a small line that you can use to just pop your glue into. Before pressing them fully together. So this is one, and then this has got a gun, a barrel, 6-barreled muzzle to go on the front. So this one, that's complete. And then we've got this gun here, which again is another push fit. Quite easily goes together like so. And there you go. And the reason I've glued these together is because I want them to go off. I want them to go off and set whilst I'm building the rest of this. So we're going to start with these two halves, which marry up. Again, pins, which is handy. So it's going to allow you to mostly push this together and then pop your glue in. Oh, actually, before I forget, we've also got, oops, come on, a piece, this piece goes in here. And it's rotated that way round. So let's get this. And so the glue really is just to make sure that this does not come apart anytime soon. So that's your first bit. Your next bit is you've got this Y-shaped piece. It's kind of the legs, I suppose. And this goes on here and it slots into the front. So you've got a couple of good positions here that you can use to glue and make it sturdy. So, and then make sure that you push that in properly. And then we've got the front of the hips which go on. Like so. So that's where we're up to with that. Then we're going to come in and make these engine exhausts. And you do need to make sure that you get these bits round the right way. And I seem to be missing a piece. So we're going to pop these bits in, and these go in a specific way. So you need to make sure that your engine is up the right way round. Your exhausts are up the right way round. And this piece slots into the middle one there. And then this piece slots into the smallest one, and these are essentially your bits to your engine exhausts, I suppose you could call them. And then, so you've got these two large ones, and then it slopes down, and that's the correct positioning. So that when you glue it onto here, the exhaust manifolds slot into the body piece like so. And then I've already done the other side, so so. So you're currently looking at something like this. It then says to pop these pieces on. Now, these I'm only going to push fit on because then I can take them off when I come to paint. So we've got those. And that's basically your lower torso complete. Coming on to the upper torso, you're going to have your back carapace and the spine are going to marry up, and this pushes together again like so. And then you've got the back of the torso, so that will go in just here. Make sure you get it the right way up. Like so. Then we're coming into arms now. The arms are all different. So these two here, so this one with this paddle and what look like fingers go in here, and then this one which just has a paddle and with a dimple in it goes in there. And I'm not going to glue that. What then happens is I'm looking at this and it looks like the, yeah, so it glues in there like so. So I'm going to pop in just a tad bit of glue there. And then that sits. Give it a wiggle because it will key. I'm just going to take these bits off. Then the front carapace goes on. Now this is going to be a little bit awkward simply because of the fact that you're going to have to press this on, and it's got a kind of thin 1 and 2. So just make sure that when you press that on, and that's what we're left with at the moment. Now you do get a choice of 2 heads, so it's up to you which one you're going to go for. Okay, do you know what? Something's gone wrong somewhere. This has been pushed together, and all the bits are seated firmly, but for some reason and that's in place. For some reason the pistons here are not seated correctly, and this spine won't move forward any further. There we go. Needed to push it down. So yeah, just be aware of that. This piece, if you align it, this front carapace incorrectly slightly, it's going to push this piece up, which needs to come forward. So let's try and glue that back on. That's better. Bingo. Now, here we have our weapon arms, and the reason I have left them off and not glued the weapons on is because I want to be able to do this. So having a look at this, although that's quite a measly connection there. So having a look at this, and then we've got another arm which pegs into here and then joins on the body there. Like thus. And then there is what I'm just going to do is pop this on there. So this just slots into there, and that's our destroyer mounted. This piece then pegs in. Like so. I think I should have popped that in before gluing the gun together. I was getting ahead of myself. That is easily rectified because you can do this which means you do that. Now I'm going to leave this to dry, but essentially this is our destroyer, and then I should be able to, once this is dry and I'm happy that it's nice and solid, then I should be able to swap the weapons out just by being careful. So I'll show you that after this has dried up nicely. So we are reasonably dry. I'm going to stick to these sub-assemblies. So we've got this sub-assembly, the base, which I'll throw some sand on. These are going to be kept separate, and then they'll be glued into position once the painting is done. So they just go onto there. And then I've got the guns, so I can swap out the guns. And what I did was on the inside of these weapons I removed the pin that would go into this little dimple on here, so I can slot it into this one like so. Obviously just be careful how you do it, and then I can just pop these pins in and I've got this weapon. And then I can take this out, and again just be careful, so don't go pressing anything that is likely to upset the delicate nature of the arms. And the way I'm going to do this one is I can push it in there. This then seats that cable into there, and then I can pop these two into position. So I can swap these weapons out depending on which foe I'm going to be facing with these particular puppies. And there you go. That is the Lokhust Heavy Destroyer. Hopefully you'll join me in the next video. All right, take care. Bye-bye.